What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be reviewing one of the most well-known rare Daron Realtoy models, which is the Qatar Airways A380 Airport Playset. So I got this model off of eBay a couple months ago and just received it yesterday for Christmas. And this model is definitely one that is very well known by collectors for being an extremely rare model. So starting off with the information about it, the first thing I would like to say is about the rarity of these models. So there are three different versions or three different types of the Qatar Airways models that were made, with the most common one being the A380, probably the most well-known one as well. And then the other two are the 787 and the 777. So the A380 was distributed as both a single plane and an airport playset, and it was the only one of the three Qatar models that were distributed in a playset. So as far as I know of, all three of the Qatar models are still being produced, and they can be pretty much only found at the Doha International Airport located in Dubai. So these models are definitely very common to find in that airport, and I think they are also distributed on board Qatar Airways flights. But for the rest of the world, these models are considered as being extremely rare. But in reality, the A380 definitely isn't as rare as lots of people think. Usually you can still find it online on multiple different websites every so often, depending on where you look. Usually there's some listed on eBay every so often. The playset of the A380 is definitely the rarest version that the A380 came in. The single plane is usually the most common, but the playset is what is more rare, but can still be found at the Doha airport. So I'm not sure what type of the playset I have that I end up getting off of eBay, when this one was exactly produced, because I know there was, between the box art designs, I know there was also a completely in the purpley red kind of color for the Qatar Airways coloring. I know the box was completely in that color, and then the one I have is in the whiter kind of design. So I do think the one I end up getting was more of a newer version of it, and it might still be produced. So this model was only distributed by the French manufacturer, or not really manufacturer, but the French distributor Socatec, as well as just like the Air France A380 playset. That I do have that model, and I did do a review video on that a couple months ago as well. So another thing about the Qatar Airways models that makes it considered as extremely rare is that all three of the models are definitely on very high demand for Realtoy collectors. Each of the models, because of the very nice box art design and just the overall really nice fully painted models within the really nice Qatar Airways livery design, which is what makes these models in very high demand to collectors, and which is what lots of people consider them as being extremely rare. And usually, if you find on eBay, usually they are listed for higher prices. But in reality, these models are still being produced and can be found at the Doha airport. So these models actually aren't as rare as these seem. So with all that being said, I wanted to get into the review of the box. So up at the top, there is the Qatar Airways logo with the really nice, iconic Qatar Airways gazelle logo and the kind of circular stripes there. And then the top portion of the box, separated by this lighter coloring of the stripes there in the center, has more of, I guess what you'd say, a maroon kind of color with the reddish purple kind of coloring. And then the bottom part is fully white with airport playset with Airbus A380 located in the bottom right corner. So then on the sides, they also have the same exact thing with the airport playset with the Airbus A380, and then the Qatar Airways gazelle on the bottom portion. And then there is the very nice Qatar Airways box art design, which this is definitely one of my favorites on any box art, on any of the back of the playsets. Just overall really nicely designed, and I really like how included the stripe pattern on the top of the box as well. So the top of the box has that stripe pattern with the maroon kind of coloring on the top there. And then there is the air traffic control tower displayed there with the airport playset in the bus. And then there is the Qatar Airways A380 displayed there right in the center of the image. And then there is all the signs with the cargo lift displayed there as well. And then the airport playset with the Airbus A380. And then there is the original price tag for it. I don't exactly know how much that is in American dollars, but is the original price tag. This playset was most likely purchased from the original seller that I had gotten off of eBay, was most likely purchased at the Doha International Airport. So down at the bottom there actually is what looks to be the manufacturing date, which is December 20th, 2021. So as I mentioned before, I guess this is a relatively new playset. So I guess the older one had the full playset box, was in the entire maroon coloring, and then just the newer ones are in the kind of half maroon coloring, and then the other half is white. So, and then there is the Socotec design there for the distributor, designed in France, which is where these models are usually distributed, or where the distributor is based out of. So pretty much is all for the review of the box art design in the back of the box. So overall, the playset is actually considered as what I would say is the most rarest version of the A380 playset. The A380 is the only model that is distributed in a playset. All the other ones that are the 787 and the 777 are only distributed as single planes, and then the A380 is also distributed as single plane, which is more common. So with that being said, like usual, I'll pause the video and take out the plane and the vehicles. So here is the Qatar Airways A380 and the vehicles. So like usual, I don't take out the signs because they are the same exact ones that usually come in every other playset. But I did take out the runway sign because, unlike all the others, which is usually a fictional one, this one is the actual runway sign at Doha International. It has the Doha International call sign, airport call sign there with the D, O, and the H, and then the 1533 for the runway. So I just wanted to take that out because it is pretty cool. So getting into the review of the model, so starting off with the, obviously with the A380, so I can definitely tell why this is a model that is on very high demand, because overall it is a very nicely designed model, and fully painted, and with the Qatar Airways livery design. And overall, I think everyone just usually likes the Qatar Airways livery because it is such a very nice, and I'd say classy livery design. And I especially like, one of my favorite things about the livery is that unlike pretty much every other airline that has just the basic white fuselage, Qatar Airways painted theirs in the really nice off-white kind of grayish coloring, which I like a lot better than just the average white fuselages. So, and it definitely looks very nice with the dark gray for the with the other lettering there, and then these stripes on the tail. And then it definitely puts a very nice blend in with the kind of maroon coloring for the Qatar logo, and then the gazelle on the tail. So overall, it is a very nice livery. So starting off with the review of the front, so they have the A380 cockpit windows there up at the front, and the first cabin door, and then the very nice big bold lettering with the Qatar logo right there. And then I forgot which kind of language that is, or writing there, but right there beside the Qatar Airways logo, and then there is the gazelle, the Qatar logo, with the gazelle on each of the 4 engines on the outside of the engine kind of casing shell there. And then the winglets are also painted in the really nice maroon coloring there on both sides. And then pretty much both sides of the plane are exactly the same, fully painted model there with the ink and the paint on the sides. And then the windows on this model are also in the nice reflective silver coloring. Usually they are either silver or just basic kind of flat black coloring. But the windows on this model are painted in the really nice shiny silver coloring. And then on my favorite part of the model is, of course, the tail with the really nicely designed kind of gazelle coloring. I'm not sure exactly what the design is kind of in the middle of the face of it, if that's just what the pattern is that is on the gazelle. But the whole gazelle takes up pretty much most of the tail, and then it has the darker gray stripes that are on the background of it. Overall, it is a very nice real-time model, definitely really nicely designed, distributed by Socotec. And another thing that is about this model that I think a lot of collectors are trying to figure out is if Daron is going to release one of these. So usually when a model is distributed by Daron is when, or whenever a newly made model is distributed by Daron, it usually means that it is very accessible to collectors and is usually sold on the Daron website, airplane shop, in person in stores, on Amazon, eBay, pretty much everywhere. and which makes it a very common model. So Daron recently released a couple images of the boxes of 3 new models, and they are in the exact same coloring with, like I say, the maroon coloring for the Qatar logo. The boxes are in the exact same coloring, and they are an A380, 777, and a 787, so which is the exact same models that Socotec released for the Qatar logo for the Qatar models. Which I have mixed feelings about that, because it is good because it makes it more accessible to collectors, but the only thing I don't like about it is that it pretty much would mean that the rest of these models aren't really going to be rare anymore, because usually since I've started collecting, which was around 4 to 5 years ago, since I really got into Realtoy collecting, I've always considered as the Qatar models as being a very rare model. Obviously, in reality, it isn't, but it always is considered as being a nice and rare model, which is, and it makes it any collection that has it, it makes it pretty much look a lot better and is a nice rare addition to any collection. But if Daron does release them, it makes the model not really rare anymore, so, or not as rare as it has been in the past, so, which is kind of slightly disappointing about that. I do like the fact that they're releasing the Qatar Airways models because of the really nice livery design. I just wish that if they were going to make them, if they make them in newer aircraft, I know a lot of people would really like to see a Qatar A350. That would definitely be a model that would be likely to be requested by lots of collectors. But, so moving on from the plane to the first vehicle, which is the cargo lift. So this is the most, I guess we could say the most uncommon vehicle that is usually displayed in playsets and distributed in the playsets. Usually you would always find the other vehicles like the bus, catering truck, stair truck, usually things like those. The cargo lift is usually the rarest one that you would find in a playset, and the one that you would most likely not find. So definitely was a very great addition to the Qatar Airways playset, and is also fully painted in the coloring with the nice off-white gray coloring for the Qatar logo, and then right there and the side right there is the Qatar Airways logo with the gazelle on both sides right there. So overall, it is a really nice vehicle to be displayed. And then right there in the back, I already showed the runway sign. And then for the second vehicle, which is the bus, my favorite one of the two. The other one is just the double-decker one, but I like this one because this one to me is more realistic. The entire bus is painted in the off-white gray coloring for the Qatar logo, and then on the side is Qatar with the gazelle on both sides right there. So overall, it is a simple yet really nicely designed playset. So it pretty much is all for today's video. So I'm really happy to finally have this model in my collection. I feel like a lot of Realtoy collectors have been able to get one over the years, and if not, you should be able to find one on eBay if you are looking constantly. Usually there are a few listed on eBay usually it is more common to find it on eBay UK, just saying. If any of you do buy off of eBay UK, it is more likely to find one on there, and it actually is pretty common to find there, to find one on eBay UK. The 777 is considered as the rarest Qatar Airways model. The 787 is probably just as common as the A380 would be. But yeah, so thank you all so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.